Hey guys, welcome to B5A piano class. So we're going to start off today and get familiar with the keyboard, some note durations, and then you're on your own to run through the little Mozart's PDFs and Bad Dog, Celery, Woods, Halloween, Monsters, Hiding Forest, Icicles, and Jabberwocky. So first off, we're going to get to know all the keys of the keyboard. So you have white keys and you have black keys, right? So with the exception of this single black key to the left of your keyboard, you have two black keys, 3, 2, 3, there's a pattern all the way up, okay? So what I'd like you to do is just play all your two black keys to get familiar. I call this the doghouse, and you'll understand why later, okay? So the two black ones, call them the doghouse. So find all the doghouses. So you go 2, okay? So those are all your two black keys. Now find your 3, your sets of 3. And I call this Grandma's house, okay? And we'll talk about why later. Okay, so now play all your 3. So doghouse, Grandma's house. Now, I call this the doghouse because it houses the D, okay? So in between each set of two black ones lives the white key, D, okay? So I want you to find all of your Ds on the piano. So this is D, 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 now, E's would live after the D. So that's an E. Okay. Your F's live at the front of Grandma's house. So the 3 black ones, if you remember, are called Grandma's house. So F lives in the front. It's the front door. So find all your F's. So F, F. Okay. Now find all of your G's. So the first person you see in Grandma's house after the front door is Grandma. So it's G. And in the musical alphabet, what comes after G is A, okay? So A, okay? Then at Grandma's house, the back door would be B, so to the right is B. Then you have C's, okay? So C's are at the beginning of the doghouse. There's C, C. And the last key is a C up on the top. Now, I didn't play these two in the bottom, but that's low A and low B, okay? So the musical alphabet is A, B, C, D, E, F, G, then it repeats itself. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. All the way up until you get to the last white key, which is C. Okay? So there are YouTube videos for the songs, The Bad Dog, and so on and so forth. Those are called black key songs. And what I want you to do is watch all of those and play through them, and you'll be switching from going from Grandma's house with the left hand to doghouse, or doghouse to Grandma's house like this, and switching back and forth, and you'll only be playing black keys in those sets of songs. And it's just to kind of teach you where things are located on the piano. I'm going to talk about a couple note durations and how long to hold things, and we're going to play through some of the little Mozarts right now. So hopefully you guys can all see this. This is called a quarter note. It's all filled in. It's a black note, and it receives 1 beat in music, okay, or 1 second. This is called a half note, and it receives 2 beats. So if I was to ask you to play a D, okay, so we're gonna play a D in the middle, and I said to play a quarter note, you would just push it down and count to 1. Okay. If I asked you to play a half note, you would push it down and hold it for 2. 1, 2. Okay. Now, the next type of duration that I want you to know is called a dotted half note, okay? So this is called a dotted half. And this receives 3 beats. So if I said play a D and hold it for 3 counts, you would go 1, 2, 3. The last one that we're learning is just a round circle, and that's called a whole note. And that receives 4. So if I said play D for 4, you would go 1, 2, 3, 4. You'd hold it down for 4 seconds, or 4 beats. Now, there are things called rests. This is called a quarter rest, and it literally means to not play anything. Okay, so if you see one of these, it's 1 second or 1 beat of silence. Okay. Here's another kind of a rest. This is called a half rest. He looks like a little hat, and he receives 2 counts, 2 beats of silence. The last thing that you need to know is the upside down hat is called a whole rest, and that receives 4 beats of silence, 4 seconds of silence. I teach my little kids that if you can put something in the hole, it's a whole rest, okay? So quarter rest, half rest, whole rest. And then you have your quarter note, half note, dotted half note, whole note. So 7 things to remember. So that takes us to the D song in your little Mozart's PDF, okay? So I want to start there and play through the little Mozarts. So this D, the stem is pointed up, so you're going to use your right hand. And I want you to use what we call D4 on the piano. And you're like, wait a minute, why is it D4? If you go here, this is the first doghouse. So this would be D1. This is D2. This is D3. We call this D4 because it's the 4th D up, okay? So with your right hand index, the numbers for your fingers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if you look at the D song, it says 2. The stem is pointed up, so it's right hand index. Now you have a quarter note there, so it's gonna get 1 count. Then you have a quarter rest, so you don't play anything for 1 beat, okay? So here we go, let's try playing this song. So it'll go D, rest, D, rest, D, 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 rest, D, 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 rest. Good. Now the lines in between here, those are called measures. Each box is called a measure. These lines are called bar lines, and when you get to the end of a song, that's called a double bar line, okay? So let's go ahead and try playing it one more time. So it's D, rest, D, rest, D, 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 rest, D, 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 rest. Turn the page. You have the C song. So Good piano position, fingers are slightly curved, and you want to leave all your fingers out now, okay? So each finger has a key, C, D, E, F, G. Let's try it's the C song. So you play C with the side of your thumb, okay? It's C, rest, C, rest, C, 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 rest, C, 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 C. Let's go on. Next one is your C and D song. This here at the end where it says play again, you have the double bar line with 2 dots. That's called a repeat sign. Repeat sign, okay? That means you do it again without stopping. So let's try this, okay? C, 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 D, 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 C, 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 rest, rest, repeat. C, 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 D, 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 C, 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 rest, rest. So the next song introduces that half note that receives 2 beats. So let's try this one together, okay? So you're gonna go C for 2, D, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, rest, rest, repeat. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, rest, rest. So moving on, I think you can figure out where E is. It's the next note up, right? With your 3rd finger. So play through the E song and then the music friend waltz on your own. Now you have that half rest. Remember, it's 2 beats of silence. So this is a 3-note symphony, the song a 3-note symphony here. So you have half notes and a half rest. So you play C, 2, D, 2, E, 2, rest, rest. C, 2, D, 2, E, 2, and it's rest, rest. Now go to the C song again. If you take a look at this one, the stems are now pointed down. So now you're going to use your left hand, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? So left hand thumb is going to go on C. So let's try this one. So it's C, rest, C, rest, C, 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 rest, C, 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 C. Okay? So what I'd like you to do is practice up to there, okay, up to the C song. And then in the next video, I'll go on from there and we'll learn a few more left-hand notes. All right, I'll see you guys later.